There it hangs, suspended in gloom, glowing dimly in darkness. A beacon there to inform us that there is always a way out. But don't go just yet. We have such wonderful things to show you. This is the Exit Light Podcast. Season 3, Episode 4, Scratched. Hello again. Welcome back to the Exit Light Podcast. I am your storyteller, Eli Beals. I am pleased to bring another story for your consideration. This week's tale involves what happens when a seemingly harmless habit spirals into tragic consequences. Without further ado, I am proud to share Scratched. Nearly every shopping center has one, a place where all types converge, from the well-to-do, working class, and the homeless, to the less discernible categories. Dan walked in one day, fresh from quitting his previous job, and thought that a tall, frosty beer could help him decide what to do next. He wound up working there, and for far longer than he anticipated. If this was the bottom of the barrel, he only had to look up for something better. This was the plan. Save money, finish the MBA course he was on, then go make the rest of his life tolerable, maybe even enjoyable. Of course, some of the clientele tested his patience and constitution at times. The drunks, the kids reeking of cannabis giggling at the array of various pills that promised pachyderm-sized libidos. The pack-a-day smokers and the occasional big spenders. These types all made their own kind of sense, except for one. The lotto players, and their lizard subcategory, the scratchers. Every single day they come in and lose until they win. Then they lose that and walk away like it was all meant to be. He hated it. Hated seeing people spiral into desperation after losing, then doubling down in the dim hopes of getting their money back. Sometimes they did, but what a colossal waste of time. He could be working on his statistics course. He could be watching paint dry. At least with that, there was a purpose to it. Among this group, there were a few that really caused Dan to groan internally when they walked into the store. They never looked at anything, just marched right to the counter towards the clerk who might sell them the one. Sometimes they'd have a stack of winners, which they turned into money, then right back into tickets, then into nothing, most of the time. This process could take hours, after ups and downs, and constant promises that this was the last one. Dan would be all too obliged to smack some sense into them, but they seemed miserable enough, so that impulse remained a passing fancy. The worst of the worst was a woman, whose face always seemed to be losing the battle with gravity, her features pulled down, eyes drooping, mouth a slack frown at all times. It was worse when she was happy, thanking Jesus and all the saints, uttering some orgiastic release, dancing and warbling right in front of him. Dan could only feel disgust, and Jesus, if he was watching, would probably feel the same way. When she lost, she did not mention him. Funny how that works. It didn't matter if he understood her when she spoke. There was always the finger that would prod the glass barrier over the tickets to let him know. Then she would ask what number it was on. Had anyone won on this or that game? Angling for some kind of advantage. Dan thought he could really mess with her if he was petty enough, but he refrained and hoped she didn't have hours worth of money to spend. Over time, he collected or absorbed errata about his regulars, details about their lives he could have done without, but it was there, by way of loud phone calls and not nearly enough attempts at intervention. He felt sorry for her family and her daughter that would sometimes come in with her, hoping her mother won big so she could get a treat. Not recently, though. Not since she screamed at the little girl in gibberish, interspersed with various expletives and a repeated phrase, "You bad luck." Dan could not dislike this person any more without calling it hatred. The day's shift had him stocking the new games, something the lotto does to keep things fresh. Different themes, different colors, same crap. And the bell rang. Of course it was her. Shuffling in like the weight of the world and all of its woes was dragging on her heels. The only sign of conscious thought flickered in her features when the tickets came into her sight line. Her eyes traced the array of games twice over before realizing that whatever she was looking for was not there. "Where's the new one?" "It's not out yet." "No, it's at other places. Why not here?" "Because I haven't put it out yet." "I want that one." The woman was small, feeble even, but somehow indomitable. Dan was struck with the sudden realization of how she was able to maintain her iron rein on those around her, by affecting an imperious posture so bristled and menacing. It was hard to find the nerve to defy her. On the receiving end of this ire, Dan backed away involuntarily, then glanced to the left behind the counter. There was a baseball bat and an unopened pack of something. He wasn't sure it was the lotto, since the plastic was black. He supposed that this had to be the one he was missing. Sure enough, peeling the wrap away revealed the game she was demanding. "Oh, these ones. Yeah, I have them." Didn't know what it was. "It's lotto," she demurred. The queen of the scratchers resumed her melting posture, though an eagerness blazed in those bleary eyes that weren't quite brown. He pulled the first one out and slid it to her after retrieving a crumpled 20. As soon as the money changed possession, and before the cash drawer even opened, she was scraping a fingernail across its face. Dan paid her no mind as he was looking at the stack of cardstock in front of him. These were different. Usually these things take on an exuberant or festive look. Not these. The art was minimal and seemed a bit grim, covered in matte black and glittering multicolored symbols. He didn't know or care how it was played, only that the lady had been cackling for the last half minute or so, waving the card like a sparkler on Independence Day. "I win! I win 200! "Oh, that's nice," he said mechanically while taking the card from her to scan it and count out her winnings. 200. There you go." She wavered as the bills made it about halfway to her pocket, before her eyes settled on the remaining stack of the same ticket. She didn't usually buy the same one after winning. Dan knew this well, so he was surprised when she bought another one. Took a few laborious steps away while scratching, then returned immediately for another. He knew this is how it would go for the next excruciating hour. Loss after loss, her winnings diminishing until completely gone. Instead of meekly oozing away, she glared at Dan. "You bad luck," she crowed before exiting. "Yeah, I bad luck," Dan said quietly, as her profile vanished into the sunlight outside. He watched her on the camera feed to see her plunk into her car, hoping this was one of those days where she left for real, and not just to dig for more cash or winning tickets she had squirreled away. The car did not move. Maybe she was negotiating a loan, or tearing up the upholstery for loose change. It must have been the former, as she diverted from her usual route from door to counter to door to ATM. After hearing the motor spin up to regurgitate the bills, she returned to Dan's post with grim determination. Seeing the pile of money in her hand, Dan was crestfallen. This was going to take all afternoon, he screamed internally. Oblivious of this turmoil, she thudded a finger on the same ticket she had squared off with before. She walked over to the kiosk designated for game card, all lotto-related materials, slapped the card down and furiously scoured the thing. She glared at it before dipping it under the laser scanner to confirm her initial assessment. This happened a few times before Dan could hear a muffled wailing from the open door. He turned the ambient music down a tick just to be sure. Distinct cries were emanating from the Scratcher Lady's car. Her kid was in there. Either the woman had not heard or was intentionally disregarding the sound. It was not clear. But she continued to whittle away the stack of money, and as it shrank, so did her grip on her composure. After the fourth or fifth revolution, the screaming got louder and accompanied by light thuds, as if small fists were pounding against safety glass. Dan was at this point concerned, or more so than he usually was when it came to this person and her problems. "I think your kid is hurt, ma'am," he said at her look of indignation as he brushed by her. "No, she's faking. She does it all the time. Yay, it's a winner," she cawed. At this he paused. Compelled to shuffle her along her merry way, he rushed her back to process her win. 1, 2, 3, $400, he said in tones that sounded like a commencement, a conclusion, and a farewell into one. "Okay, I get one more, and one of these, and one of these." Oh no. His face fell, and he pulled out the requested items without allowing his irritation to show too much. The second her fingernails scraped the surface of the first one, a scream rang out, loud and pain-filled. This prompted both of them to move to the source of it. Dan's impulse was concern, the woman's pure rage. She stood blocking the entrance, shrieking and gesturing at the occupant of her car, demanding she shut the hell up, and then she whirled on Dan. "Not your business! You leave out!" "I think you should check on your daughter." "No, she faking," she said with firm insistence, almost as if trying to convince herself of this statement. Fortunately for Dan, this was no longer just his problem. A person had just pulled up near the screaming car and immediately swiveled to inspect it. After a moment, they removed their sunglasses and peered close to the dark glass, then recoiled. "No, she faking!" the Scratcher Lady protested, and almost charged out before remembering the remaining tickets she was gripping, and proceeded to attack those instead. The man turned to gaze at them in the shop, the phone pressed to his head, his eyes boring into them with disgust. The screams persisted and rose in time with the lady's fervent scratching. He had a horrible sinking suspicion that these were directly connected. Giving it no further thought, Dan shoved his way by holding the baseball bat. Then a scream abruptly ceased mid-peal. Before Dan could swing the bat at the window, a sharp warble issued from an approaching police car, its alternating emergency lights barely registering in the sunlight. The cops did exactly what Dan was intent on doing. "Where's the driver of this vehicle?" the officer not currently smashing the window demanded. Dan pointed to the liquor store in response. The officer muttered something into their radio and approached the woman, staring mutely out at them while unbuttoning the snap that contained handcuffs. "We got another one," the window smasher said as he reached inside the back seats. Dan uttered something blasphemous, as he saw what the officer had extracted. From where he stood, he could see that the little girl was drenched in blood, her face and arms a maze of dark, oozing lines. He never saw that woman again, due to the fact that he no longer worked there. He had returned only the day after the event, and up to the moment when yet another delivery arrived. This time, the black shrink-wrapped enclosed a shipment of popular cheap vodka. Seeing this, he locked the doors, slid his key into the mail slot, and never returned. That possibility buried beneath a thin layer of paint, or whatever that stuff is. It promises a life of ease, a means to improve your life and the lives close around you. It's not much of a risk, just a few dollars, just a bit of time. Or is it just a persistent itch that demands to be scratched? Until next time, good night.